Hundreds of CEOs around Australia are opting to spend a night on the streets to raise money for the homeless. The annual Vinnies CEO Sleepout taking place in 7 cities this year.
It started 5 years ago as a local community venture in Sydney's Parramatta with very few CEOs. So the Sleepout's founder is pretty happy with how we've come so far.
Well, I'd started being involved in fundraising dinners, and as an engineer and a designer, the process or the thought process for me was how do you design a better dinner? And I took one step back from that to try and identify, well, what is the real issue that we're trying to address? Certainly in fundraising dinners we were trying to target business leaders because we think they've got more money, but we were also looking for changes in perceptions and changes in actions from business and community leaders. In organising the dinners, it just didn't make sense to have a more lavish dinner to raise money for the homeless situation, for people who don't have these things. So this is really a bit of an anti-event rather than an event. The event runs from about 7 p.m. till 7 a.m. And newcomers are a bit tentative, not knowing what they're in for. It's very Spartan. You know, people are turning up with their sleeping bag, and really that's all they're bringing. And throughout the night, fairly early on, there's a bread roll and some soup served. And one of the most important parts that happens then throughout the night is have a listen to the stories of some homeless people. And that really is one of the key impacts of the night. It's not possible in one night to really understand what people are going through, but it's remarkably successful for those who do attend, that they get to hear those stories of real people. So maybe they've never listened to a homeless person before, and here they are with their business and community leader peers quietly listening, and at times some of them crying obviously, given some of the stories that they're hearing. But they don't then jump into their nice car and drive home. They get to sleep on it for the night, or not sleep on it because it is pretty uncomfortable lying on the concrete. Clearly the dollars is one measure. The number of people attending is another measure. The calibre of people attending is another measure. And on all of those measures, the event has been an incredible success, especially in the last few years. So the other thing that is a measure would be changing perceptions. So Vinnies is undertaking some research in that area at the moment, and we expect to see that people are changing the way that they're thinking. From my point of view, it's all about connection, and I know that when people are sitting in the audience listening to these stories, they're also thinking about their own families. If the people at top, who we consider are at the top of society, CEOs, are now a little bit more connected with those that we think in one measure are at the bottom of society, the homeless people, well, maybe they'll be more connected with everyone in between. And they'll think twice about the social impacts of their business decisions. Money goes directly to Vinnies, but they're aware and publishing on the website where the money was spent from last year. So that transparency is really important, obviously. In New South Wales, for example, all of the money raised from the Sydney event has gone to support homeless services, specifically Matthew Talbot Hostel, and also some services in regional areas like Wagga and Armidale.